Paula.
Oh, you can say Adriana. It's okay. Thank you.
Adriana. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much for joining us today. And,
Thank you.
all I can say is for folks who are not familiar with your work, they need to go to your website. They need to check out Luna Cultura and find out what you do and why you do. So,
Yes.
and at some point, I'm sure we'll have a little stream of where people need to go to your site.
Okay, yes, thank you very much.
Okay.
My name is Adriana Paola Palacios Luna. I'm the founder of Luna Cultura, which is an organization that promotes art, science, and technology and culture among underrepresented communities in these areas, and also to empower the community to strengthen our identities, to heal from historical trauma, and we do use this through art and poetry. So I'm sharing a couple points here today. I will read the first part in Spanish, then I will do a small translation, and then a second one. And I hope you will like and enjoy this. The first one is called Te llamamos, te amamos, Tlazolteotl. En un mundo que se nos presenta lleno de inmundicias y mugre, se desgarra y se violenta a la madre tierra. Se despoja a los pueblos originarios y la codicia y la acumulación se imponen sobre la humanidad. Esa humanidad que parece escurrírsenos de entre las manos. Aparece la mirada acuosa en un rostro que nos alerta de la enfermedad. Viene a recordarnos aquello que se encuentra éticamente putrefacto. La contradicción, la negación que nos permitirá reconstruirnos, renovarnos como pueblos. Tú que juegas con los demonios de la insanidad, insignia de luna, vencedora de la muerte, guía de curanderas, remedios, magos, parteras, sanadora, clarividente, fuego, luna, maíz, tierra, que dominas la raíz del diablo, testimonio de amor, dualidad en movimiento, cuidado del cuerpo y la tierra. En este día, en estas noches, te nombramos la Solteot. Muéstranos los granos de la vida y la abundancia. Guíanos con tu sonajero sagrado a una mejor comunidad. Te llamamos, te amamos, la Solteot. So I will say it now in English. And it says, we called you, or we love you, Tlazolteotl. In a world that is presented to us full of filth and order, Mother Earth is torn and violated. Native peoples are stripped and dispossessed. Greed and accumulation are imposed on humanity. That humanity that seems to slip away from our hands. A watery gaze appears, and a disfigured face that presents us with a twist image. It alerts us from illness. You come to remind us of what is ethically rotten, the contradiction, the denial, that will allow us to renew ourselves as people. You who play with the demons of insanity, Moon Batch, Death Cheater, Guide of Healers, Remedies, Magicians, Midwives, Healer, Clairvoyant, Fire, Moon, Corn, Earth, you that dominate the root of evil, evidence of love, duality in motion, guardian of the flesh and the earth. On these days, on these nights, we name you Tlazolteotl. Show us the grains of abundance. Guide us with your sacred rattle to a better community. We call you, we love you, Tlazolteotl.
Beautiful and powerful words.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I will say another one that is also in order to prevent gender violence, and also the way that we are putting out so much violence over Mother Earth as well. So, es desde las semillas, un cuerpo mutilado, ultrajado, despojado por la fuerza de la vida, enmarcado en la violencia, con fuerza resurge de las semillas. Ese cuerpo ahora camina descalzo, sin pena, sin miedo, sin gloria. Le susurra a la madre tierra. Comparten una historia común de violencia y despojo. Un corazón trémulo, descarnado, un suspiro que parece escapar. Un alma recuperada renace de las semillas. Puedo escuchar su voz desde la distancia. Puedo observar su silueta que se mueve por el mundo con su piel, recuperada. Su corporalidad viviente, la puedo ver, la puedo escuchar, la puedo sentir. El suave amanecer le acaricia la piel. Camina por tierras sacras, conjura a la madre tierra. el misterio se devela, agua, tierra, aire, fuego. Cuando renazca vendrá en forma de hierba fresca, cuando la luna esté menguada, un ritual de sanación para el corazón, la mente y el alma. No más lamentos, sino un irresistible acto de fe. Renovación, conmoción activa que le permite recuperarse desde las semillas, entre y con otras mujeres. La fuerza creativa se revela inteligente, un destino ineludible que vence miedo desde la esperanza colectiva. Narrar los asuntos de la tristeza, transitar entre el horror y el dolor para poder resurgir desde las semillas. Desde mi voz podemos hoy evocar a las ausentes. Su cuerpo se mueve con fuerza, con valentía y determinación. Y es así que nos enseña cómo resurgir de entre las semillas y crear una mejor versión de nosotras, desde la posibilidad del gozo y la esperanza, desde la posibilidad de crear un mundo lleno de colores, diverso, donde nuestra principal característica común es el ser personas, desde nuestro ser personas, corpóreas, como grandes ceibas, podemos andar la tierra, desde la posibilidad que desde el pronombre ella podemos sanar en colectivo. I do not have the full translation for this one, but mostly it's like how like women that experience violence, that is a lot of women, and it's mostly all of the women that we have experienced any kind of violence, and how do we reborn from the seeds, from that roots, and that seeds that feed us from Mother Earth as well, and how we share this history of pain and suffer, and how can we build the healing, the collective healing. So, and like how can we walk the earth again, and get connected with Mother Earth in the process of healing, by healing the earth as well. And how can we heal ourselves from the pronoun she and everyone that it identifies as she as well.
You know, we were talking about earlier in a presentation on you can tell how a culture is based on how they treat their women, how they treat the earth, vice versa. Right? So the abuse that is gone on between Mother Earth and the women and girls, there's this correlation, there's always this connection of either the violence or the respect. And we tend to forget. Yeah.
And I always think like also how do we build this like the power of caring and taking care of earth, but it doesn't have to become also a woman's responsibility, because sometimes it's like because we have done so much for so much time the caring work in life, and I know we know how to do it, but also it's not our own responsibility. It's like it has to be a shared responsibility.
It is shared responsibility and how we raise our boy children.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you so much for sharing your gift, your art with us today. It is truly appreciated.
Thank you very much.
For those who are interested, please go to lunacultura.org and find out more.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to be here. Okay. Take care.
Thank you.
I am the forest. I take in your pollution and give you clean air. Purify your water and protect your shores. Yet you continue to cut me down, releasing carbon into the air and heating this planet. While some of you stand with me, most of you turn your backs on me. But I am resilient. Let me grow, and we can solve your climate problem together. When one tree falls, you might not hear it. But when millions fall, I assure you, you will feel it.
Okay. Are we ready for the next? Yes, Minnie. Oh, it's good to see you. It's good to finally meet semi-live, right?
Yes. So very honored to be part of this and very, very happy to meet you, even if not physically. But
I'm grateful that you were able to do this. When I reached out to the Conservation International, this was an added bonus when there was this introduction of you, and then we talked about you when you mentioned maybe you can apply for next year, submit something for next year, and I'm like, well, or you can do something now. So thank you for joining us on relatively short notice. I think we maybe communicated maybe a week and a half ago. So thank you for being here.
yeah, so I am so happy to be here. So as you said, my name is Minnie Degawan, and I am a Kankanai Igorot from the Cordillera, Philippines. I am currently working with Conservation International and very humbled to join you today from the lands of the Piscataway people here in Maryland. I would like to talk about our indigenous concept of justice and how this is very much linked with our relationship with the environment. As you know, the late 70s to the early 80s were turbulent times in the Philippines. We were under the Marcos dictatorship at that time. And to fuel some of his development plans, Marcos had a dream, one that was funded by the World Bank. He dreamt of damming the waters of the Chico River up in the Cordillera Mountains. He planned to build the biggest series of dams, four to be exact. The Cordillera is a mountain range and home to many peoples, collectively known as Igorots. The Igorot people are hardworking people who carved out the mountains into the famous rice terraces to provide sustenance for their communities. To those from the outside, the majestic rice terraces are considered tourist attractions to be wondered at and to be photographed. But for our people, it means survival. These rice terraces are the sources of our sustenance, and with it, our cultural norms. The Chico River cuts across the mountain range and serves to connect the different peoples. It is considered to be an integral part of our communities. Damming it would mean the submerging of several communities, not just of riverbanks, but also of rice fields, backyard gardens, grazing, and sacred grounds. At stake was the Ili, that combination of people and place, of both the seen and the unseen. Of course, the Igorot people did not take the plans of dams sitting down. They organized themselves and fielded delegations to Manila to petition the central government to stop the plans. The women dared to rush to the campgrounds of the construction crew and frighten them off. Men called for and responded to Fetad, the call to arms to defend the Ili. But with such opposition, government soon sent its armed forces. On the night of April 24, 1981, government military forces killed one of the leaders of the opposition, Makliing Dulag, a respected tribal chieftain of the Kalinga people. His close friend and another dam oppositionist, Pedro Dungok, was wounded but managed to slip away. The death of Makliing Dulag did not stop the communities from furthering their opposition. Instead, it served to spark a coming together of the different peoples of the Cordillera to stand together and affirm their commitment to defend land and life. The movement grew to include allies from outside the region and even outside the country. A fact-finding team was organized and a group of lawyers was soon dispatched up and traveled to the mountains. The lawyers offered to pursue a legal case against the military personnel who led the mission to kill Makliing. These offers sparked discussions in the community, whether to take this route or to explore other means of achieving justice. The elders, I think in their wisdom and in deference to the lawyers, agreed to the filing of cases. And this was where I met them. A group of 8 Kalinga leaders traveled to Manila to file the case. For most of them, it was their first time to be away from the Cordillera, and a call was sounded to help facilitate their travel and also to communicate with the lawyers. We volunteered for the task. When the lawyers were giving the tribal leaders a briefing on what to expect, they were also asking them to lay down their demands. The lawyers were asking the elders what amount would be considered as just to penalize the military personnel. Would dismissal from service be enough? What are the exact demands of the leaders? And for me, translating these to the leaders, I could see how they were very perplexed and couldn't understand what is this that the lawyers are asking, what do they mean by demands? And then they very patiently explained that when they agreed to file a legal case, it was with the idea that the plans for building the Chico Dam would be stopped. They reminded the lawyers that McLean was killed for his leadership against the project, and no amount of money would bring him back. To dismiss the military personnel would have no consequence for the community. What matters is that the reason for McLean's death, to stop the damming of the Chico, would be realized. And this is when I realized that we indigenous peoples have a very different concept of justice, of what is right. Justice is meant to restore balance, not just among the people, but more importantly, the balance between man and the environment, which includes the spirits of those who went ahead of us. To the Kalinga leaders, the filing of a legal case was but a tool to regain balance. It was never about punishing the perpetrators of the killings per se, but it was ensuring that the Chico will continue to flow. It was their belief that McLean and the other ancestors would not be at peace if the Chico was done. The legal case was filed, the elders went back to their village and continued the organizing and mobilizing against the dam. They left the legal case entirely at the hands of the lawyers because for them, justice could not be achieved outside of their ili, their village. Justice or balance is found in the collective action of the people. And so to this day, the Chico River continues to flow, albeit with new threats from new powers. The plans to build a series of dams has resurfaced. But I have to believe that the wisdom of the Kalinga, the Igorot, will prevail. Today, on the occasion of Earth Day, I pay homage to the many, many, many indigenous leaders whose rights have been violated, whose lives were lost in the ever-continuing struggle to hold the line in our communities. And as we observe Earth Day, let us remember what justice and even peace mean for our people. It is restoring and ensuring balance, where no one goes hungry while others have plenty, where each community has the means to sustain itself according to their self-defined needs and aspirations that take into account past and future generations. This is the essence of Earth Day, and may it be with all of us. Thank you.
Wow. So the ignorance of living in this country is quite often you do not know what other people are going through. And to be able to hear your words, to hear the story of what has happened, what continues to happen, and the changes that need to be made is very powerful. These are the kind of things we need to be made aware of, because we can live within this bubble, the confines of that is happening over there, has nothing to do with me here. Those are only a few people over there. It is not affecting the masses here. So thank you so very much for sharing that. Powerful, powerful, Minnie.
And thank you so much. music video will be played about this struggle. And part of the one that I wanted to say was the struggle against the Chiku would not have been successful without the solidarity support of so many people, including a lot of those from here in the US who helped lobby the World Bank. So our struggles are our collective struggles. What happens in one area affects everyone. So again, thank you so much.
Udanong hanapik sa tagayusa kagpapabaing gana waya-waya uway kadikadwa tidanong ijay bantay nagayus nagpapabaing gana ijay bye-bye uway uray anyati ikastam uray man nula pedam mabiru kanalata dalam waya-waya uway uray man numabulanan uray man numatawanan isulat ati madanunan bye-bye kalawaan uway Iarigan na tidanong anabisa dangadang di umili sigurado at paligid uway may lalanas na umiigit umangpangon lumablaban isudat isa diri pa ng baliw ikadimungan uway uray anya mantirikat mabayag mantigubat isulat ati madanunan nawaya masabayan uway
Minnie, are you still with us?
I am still with it. Yes.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that video and making us aware, and myself included, because I was not aware. I sit, one of the things I do is I sit on the board for the Council of addressing, I'm feeling very emotional from the video and what you shared. It's very heart-reaching. I sit on the board for the Coalition Against Global Genocide, and these are the things that we need to bring to the table to make people aware of. And so I hope that this is the beginning of a dialogue between us, and we can make more people aware of what has been going on and take the steps that need to be taken to help heal. It's so crucial.
Yes, and I welcome all of you. And I also wanted to say thank you so much for this day, all the events. I was following some of them, and the involvement of the young people is something that I welcome so much and I wish to see more of, because we are all becoming elders and we need to prepare the young to take on the mantle. There will be more struggles, not just in the Cordillera, but elsewhere. But I think we all need each other, and the victory of one is the victory of all. So again, salamat, yaman. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a beautiful rest of your day.
Thank you.
Okay. Definitely a heart-filled day for me. And I have a tremendous amount of gratitude. I connected with the Conservation International people very recently. And through that connection, there was this introduction of Minnie. And so we invited her to participate today. And I'm very happy that she was able to do that, that she accepted the offer. So next up, we have Natalie Chantry. I've known Natalie for a number of years now, and she does some beautiful, amazing work, healing work. And well, I'm not going to speak anymore. I'm going to let Natalie share her story on earthing.
I help people to connect more fully with their bodies and their lives through a sensed and felt experience. I do that through massage therapy. I do it through breath coaching. I do it through movement facilitation. And I also do it through body-centered coaching. Now, what I want to talk to you today about is a concept that's near and dear to my heart, or a practice that's near and dear to my heart. And it's the practice of earthing. Now, what is earthing? Earthing is the practice of walking or standing barefoot on the earth or the ground. Not cement, the ground. Or sitting on the ground and using your hands to connect with the ground, the earth, as well. And this is a practice that is actually quite well known in many indigenous cultures, but it's making its way, it's just begun to make its way into Western modern society over the past 40 or 50 years. Now, the first person who coined the phrase of earthing, his name was Clint Olber. When he was a child, he lived in a community that was very close to an Indian reservation. And he spent a lot of his childhood days playing with kids on that reservation. Interestingly, while he was there, a lot of the elders and wise people in that community would invite him or tell him to take his shoes off whenever he was walking around, to walk directly on the earth. And he didn't question it. He was a kid. What's a kid gonna do? So he would just do it, and he'd go about his business. Fast forward to when he became an adult, he became a cable installer, he became a cable installer. And what cable installers do is that they actually dig up in the ground and install cable. They bury cables in the ground to help improve TV and phone quality and function. Now, while he was doing all of this, there was a day where all of a sudden he had a memory of walking on the earth, and the elders who told him that it was beneficial if he did that. So he began to start playing with walking on the earth and also grounding and doing all of those things. And what he discovered was that he began to feel more vitality and a greater sense of well-being. And so what he decided was he decided to go and find doctors and researchers who were interested in doing some research to see if there was a quantifiable benefit to earthing. And what they found was really interesting and astounding information. The first thing that they found was that the earth was made up of water and minerals, just like the human body. They also found that the earth could transmit, or the earth produces, free electrons that can be transmitted easily through the skin, through the bare feet and through the palms of the hands. Now, what they also realized in their research was that people, over the years, starting in the 60s, we lost our connection to the earth with the advent of rubber and man-made soles that we put on our shoes. They also saw the pattern that more people began to move inside as we moved from an agrarian society into a modern society where people spent more time in cities. They also noticed that our diets began to shift as well. The foods that we were eating was not nearly as healthy as it used to be. And that as people became more unhealthy, they were also noticing an increase of inflammation in people's bodies, and that inflammation is the root cause of all illnesses. Now, what they realized is that through this research is that when we spend time on the earth, earthing and grounding, that the earth is a natural antioxidant, which can actually reduce the inflammation that develops in our bodies. And if we are able to do that, and when we are able to reduce the inflammation in our bodies, it creates a huge sea change in how our bodies function. Now, I'm going to give you just a few examples. There are myriad ways in which earthing can help you, but I'm just going to throw a few out here now. The first way in which earthing can help us is it helps to improve and support our immune system. So what that means is when we spend more time connected to the earth, we don't get sick as often. And when we get sick, we don't stay sick as long. It actually helps us to recover more quickly. And the same thing is true if we have an injury. When we spend more time on the earth, we actually heal faster from injuries and breaks and things like that. Another way in which earthing can help to support us is it helps our thyroid function. Now, the thyroid is kind of the motherboard of all of the other systems in our body. And when our thyroids malfunction, other things begin to malfunction as well. So it begins to help to support and improve that function so that our hormone function doesn't go wonky. Our ability to deal with autoimmune issues actually gets more supported as well. Those are just a couple of examples. Another way in which earthing can help us is through helping to improve our metabolic function as well. So when we eat foods, it helps our bodies to actually absorb, break down, and also to break down and absorb food more easily and more effectively and efficiently, and also helps us to eliminate more easily as well. So in layman's terms, what does this mean to you? What this means is that it will help us, it can help us with our digestion. We can digest better. We'll feel better in our bodies. It helps to reduce chronic issue or chronic pain issues that people might have. It can even improve sleep, which is really important for helping to heal a lot of the organs in our systems as well. And also it helps to reduce stress and anxiety. So it just helps to improve our overall wellness, which is just fascinating. Now, let me tell you a little bit about my own story. Now, I used to love, and I still do, I was introduced to, or I discovered earthing without even meaning to. I had no idea I had no idea I was doing what I was doing. When I was in high school and in college, I loved spending time in parks. I would spend a weekend here and there throughout the course of the year when I was in high school, just spending time in parks. Would get out there maybe once or twice a month and just sit and enjoy being out in parks. And I would do stuff while I was out there. And when I was in college, we did that as well. And we played a lot in college too, but we were out, but we spent a lot of time out in nature. And that developed my love for being out in nature. But it was in my early to mid-20s that I began to spend more time in nature on a daily basis. I would go for walks in the mornings, and then on weekends I would just go get lost in national parks and would just spend hours out there. And what I began to find was that I was feeling better inside my body. I could actually go for a walk and I could just feel my energy ground. I could just feel like any stress just drip off of me, which was a really cool experience, by the way. And I just knew that I loved being out there. And interestingly enough, the times when I didn't spend time out there, I could certainly tell a difference in my body as well. I was more agitated. I was more anxious. I'm given more to I'm kind of prone to depression, and I would find myself feeling more depressed when I wasn't outside. So I just developed a ritual in the mornings and then on weekends of spending time outside. Now, let's fast forward to 2 or 3 years ago. I began to notice more and more topics of earthing, nature walks, nature bathing, and all of these different descriptions of earthing come up on the internet. And so I decided to start reading up on what this thing was about. What the heck is earthing about? And what I found was that there was quantifiable research that actually corroborated what I was experiencing in my own body when I was out in nature. So I actually took that back to my clients and I began to give them earthing as homework. Because there were things that they were experiencing. Of course, a lot of people come to me with stress, and a lot of people come to me with other issues that they are experiencing in their bodies that I help them with. And I wanted them to be proactive in their recovery and in their own healing. And I saw earthing as being a tool that they could use that was free, that was easy, very easily accessible, that they could do to help support themselves. And what was very cool was that when they would come back to me for their sessions and they would tell me of the improvements that they began to notice and sense in their own bodies when they were out in nature too. So this is a very easy practice. And and so little to do, so little to do. And I think that's the thing, that's the beauty that I like about it as well, because we do spend so much time being busy, and we spend so much time doing. This is an opportunity for people to just be. So I invite you, if you've never tried it before, go outside, go into your backyard. If you don't have a backyard, find a nearby park, or if you live near open space, head out to open space and try it. Try what it feels like to do some earthing. And I would invite you to just try a little bit of it every day if it's something that you're unaccustomed to. If you go out there and you start feeling anxious because you've got lists of things to do, put yourself on a timer. Give yourself, start with 10 minutes and do it every day. And just notice, allow yourself to be. And then at the end of that week, if that feels comfortable for you and if you feel settled in your body, add another 5 minutes to that. So that second week, do 15 minutes. And if that begins to feel comfortable to you, add another 5 minutes to that. And then just keep adding. And especially if it's a weekend day, if you've got a bit more time, see if you can make it up to an hour or so to just be out in nature. You can either do it while gardening or something like that, or just allowing yourself to sit with your feet flat on the ground and your hands on the ground and just allow yourself to absorb that energy. So I hope you do try it. And I hope you find as many wonderful results as I have in my exploration, and as many other people have as well. So thank you so much for your time, your attention, and your intention. And I hope you have a fantastic Earth Day, and enjoy the rest of the presentations that are here. Be well. Bye-bye.
That, oh, okay, there we go. Sorry, I was muted for a moment. I want to thank Natalie for that reminder. I know that it makes a huge difference for me in how I operate in the everyday world when I spend time in nature, when I put my feet to the ground. And when I don't, big difference. And clearly over this period of time, it's been a challenge in this last year for us to get back into the cycle. But now, with winter starting to ebb away, at least in this region, although the snow is almost melted out this way. But the weather is going to be changing and it's warming up, and we can at least get out into nature. Even if this pandemic is keeping us from being around others, we can at least get our feet in the soil. So please do that for yourself as well as everyone around you. Okay. So next up, we have Keith Anderson's video, The Earth Speaks. Beautiful video from Keith Anderson. Thank you, Keith, for submitting that. I do recognize that, like us, the internet gets tired and slows down. So we are starting to have some sluggish problems. Hopefully, it will take a rest for these next few minutes while we have Asia with us and be refreshed and run smoothly a little bit later. Asia, how are you, honey?
I'm great. How are you, Alicia?
I'm doing well. It's good to see your face and your loved ones in the background.
Yeah, they're here to help me out a little bit.
Oh, good, good, good. We could always use that kind of support, right? Especially from our loved ones.
Yes,
So
yes.
thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. And for those of you who don't know us, I have known Asia's mother for a very long time. I've known Asia since she was pretty young, well before she had her own family. And she's a phenomenal musician. So I was following some of the work that she was doing, and I thought, oh, we need to have this played for our event. And then she was talking about a piece that she had written. Was this in honor of your grandmother? Is that it?
Yes, it's in honor of my great grandma. I have a recording project right now that is about Indigenous teachings that she passed down for us.
Okay. All right. So we're going to go straight to the recording right now.
You know, I come from a family of traditional Mexica or Aztec dancers, and I thought we would start by saluting the four directions. So it's our tradition to pay respect to our ancestors and say thank you for everything that you have taught us. And then I would like to sing a traditional Mexica song for the earth in honor of Earth Day. So can we get started?
Absolutely.
Okay, my family's gonna help me with this.
Will you introduce who your family is?
Yes, I have my little son, Theo Quoutley. His Indigenous name means eagle, and I have my son, husband, Nick Diamond, and they're going to play the drums for me while I salute the four directions. And we're going to burn some copal. I know the internet, you can't smell it, but I think you'll be able to feel it. It's vibration and energy.
Absolutely.
And then we're going to sing a song for Mother Earth. Right, Theo? Okay, are you ready? Just one.
Ready?
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for calling this in.
So just a little bit about the song we sing. Tonantzin means Mother Earth, or our sacred mother. And then it's basically saying thank you, sacred mother. And then it's also referencing Koyo Yoshauki, which is the moon. So it's talking about our, like having an umbilical cord connection to the moon. So yeah, I wanted to just say thank you to Mother Earth using that song today. So now we can like to talk a little bit about my composition, Crystal Sky. it is a dedication to my great grandma Esther. She her family is indigenous to southern Colorado and northern New Mexico, and they come from the San Luis Valley. And she was responsible for passing down many teachings to us. She didn't do it in a way that was like, these are these teachings, but she did it in a way of just living her life that represented those teachings. And one way that was very apparent to us was that she had a very deep respect for the earth and animals, and it was always very kind and gentle and loving. And she loved to garden, and it was in a sense, it was like the earth was also a companion to her. And so like your friends, you take care of your friends just like they take care of you. And so I have an EP coming out called Hummingbird's Grandchildren, which every song is inspired by a teaching from her. And so Crystal Sky is the one that is about respecting the earth and being gentle. And it's actually written for children because I think that it's good to teach children in ways that is fun and engaging. And I don't think that children necessarily need us to teach them to take care of the earth. I think it's already in their spirits, but they need opportunities to express what's already there. And so I made it a song that hopefully gets them like moving and dancing a little bit. I'm an instrumental musician, so this is an instrumental song. I have a picture of my great grandma I would like to present right now. Is that possible?
Is that something you sent to Aisla?
Yes.
She's saying yes.
So this is my great grandma Esther, and her relatives were Picaris Pueblo and Mexico or Aztec, and she was also Spanish. So she was a mestiza. And another reason that I composed this song and this EP for her was because when I remember my great grandma, I remember how kind and loving and hardworking she was. But there's also a sense of sadness when I think of her, because I know of how much she, being a mestiza and being indigenous, I know that her life was hard. And I know that for her relatives and ancestors, I know that there are many, many traumas that they had faced because they were indigenous. And so for me, composing music where I can bring in these teachings from my ancestors and from my relatives, and where I get the opportunity to be the creative force, I feel like it's a way to heal these historical traumas for myself, for my son, for future generations, and also for my ancestors, for me to put love into the universe that says, you know, I acknowledge all the hardships you went through, and this is what I can give you right now. So with that, I'd like to present Crystal Sky. It's the video, and I think you guys have it, right?
I always love hearing you play that sax.
Oh, thank you very much.
It is so beautiful.
Well, thank you.
I'm sure your family is proud. Did you blow your mother's mind when you first shared this?
Yeah, they loved it. I'm not sure if their minds were blown. They've had to listen to me for probably like 3 decades now on the saxophone. But yeah, I love the saxophone. You know, I started saxophone and really Aztec dancing when I was little, and I don't know, the two energies just for me they kind of like matched, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think the saxophone's a great instrument. So
yeah, you two suit each other very well.
there's another saxophonist on there too. There's 2 of us. This recording was done by a group of other Denver musicians. So
okay.
yeah, so if you want more information, go to my website, and there's information about all the other musicians on there too.
Let's see if we can't get that to scroll up again before we say our goodbyes. There we go. FajardoDiamond.com. And there's a whole lot more to listen to if you go to the website. You can get little snippets. And please support your local artists, okay? Yeah, support. We need it. We have a lot of people who are very appreciative of the work that we do. And it's wonderful when you get a pat on the back, but it means a whole lot when you get to put food on the table as well, doing the art. So it is how we really heal the world, I think, is through the arts. So let's support it as much as we possibly can. All right. Asia, is there anything else that you would like for us to know about? Any last words?
No, just, you know, don't be afraid to write your own songs. I really think that's powerful.
This is very good.
And with whatever tools you have at that time, wherever you are musically, you can always write your own music. And I think it's powerful. And thank you so much, Alicia and her many voices. I'm excited to watch the rest of the presenters.
Thank you. Give my love to the family.
I will.
Have a good night, honey.
I am the mountain. I am nature's oldest temple. My glaciers and streams provide the water you drink. My forests, your wood, your clean air. From up here, I see how you've come to treat this world. You used to recharge your body and soul in the calm of my forests. You once climbed my peaks, seeking enlightenment. Now you take what you want and contemplate only your own gain. Open your eyes while there's still time. Because there's one more thing I see clearly. The cliff you're on, and the rocks below.
Well, if that doesn't say it, I don't know what does. The cliff below and the rocks are on. Tommy, how are you, dear?
I'm really good. Boy, after watching a lot of what was going on today, I now understand you so much more and her many voices, because you are her, and I now see all those voices through you. And what a powerful day of testimony, and you know, everyone bearing witness to their involvement in this movement to keep Earth healthy. and a place for humanity. It's been a beautiful day.
It has been a beautiful day. Yes.
Yeah.
And, as a little introduction, so Tommy Nahulu not only is a dear friend of mine for, I don't know, close to 30 years now. He is a local artist in Denver, Colorado, from Hawaii. That's where his people are from. And he's been quite the artivist, the artist activist in community for many, many, many years. And that's how we have our connection. And Tommy also is our newest, thank you very much, board member. He just came on board for with Her Many Voices within the last couple of weeks. So I have a tremendous amount of gratitude around that. And to speak to the name Her Many Voices, I mean, it came to be because the her is Mother Earth and the many voices, all of her children. And so I interpret that quite often as when women are speaking, especially if they're mothers, it is her and her children, just like Mother Earth and all of her children. And as all of her children, that makes us all siblings. So we need to start behaving like we are one big family. Oh. I asked you here today because not only do you share your art and your wisdom, and your love, but you share that of your lineage. And particularly, I'm thinking of your father right now and the work that he has done and the impact that that's had on your life. So would you share a little bit about that?
Yeah. I actually, I come from a family of policemen, firemen, and teachers, mostly teachers. My mother and my father were teachers. My father spent most of his life in education. It wasn't until later that he was assigned a job to be the director of this lot on the Big Island, on the Hilo side. And the work he was doing there came close to my heart in that I've never seen him this close to environmental work. And it just really tugged at my heartstrings and made me proud and kind of gave me more purpose in my life and made me a proud Hawaiian son. We have the video, I believe, that really inspired me, but I got to share with a lot of people. And I think that's a video you saw that you're talking about.
Yeah. So if we can cue that up and wonderful.
Here we go.
Different types of trees found in the Mauka forests. One of the most prolific was koa. Unfortunately, as the Ahupua'a land divisions disappeared due to privatization, so did the koa. Many of those trees were cleared and burned to make way for money-making ranching operations, while others were harvested for furniture and housing. In this next segment, we'll travel to the island of Hawaii to see how Kamehameha Schools is collaborating with a special man to bring back the koa. It's early morning on the slopes of Mauna Loa in the Keauhou Forest Preserve. Eli Nahulu is talking story with about a dozen Kamehameha Schools employees. Today, these people have left their offices, classrooms, and students behind to become students themselves. They'll be studying in a unique location under an extraordinary teacher.
My best guess is there were Hawaiians living up here. And if they were living up here, there were people that managed their environment.
Since the early 1800s, this land had been turned into grazing pastures for a working cattle ranch. When the lease ran out in 1977, a plan was produced to return the land to the way it had been when Hawaiians first came to the Big Island. It's been more than 30 years since the first koa seedlings were planted on this 27,000-acre parcel, and the one person who's been overseeing this project is Eli.
The environment helps us to exist in the world. If we take care of the environment takes care of us.
Number one, if we plant this thing properly, yeah, by making a good hole and and then putting it in the ground, we capping it. If we plant 10 properly, about 6 or 7 will live. Yeah. So now,
Ron Kimball has been helping Eli with this project for over 2 decades. He knows the process intimately and has helped plant hundreds of thousands of koa seedlings. Today, these teams will place about 2,500 plants in this area. Ron will supply them all the tools and knowledge necessary to get the job done.
Okay.
Even though Eli has helped plant more than 1 million trees on more than 1,800 acres over the last 3 decades, these people soon realize this day is about more than just planting trees. This is a chance to get in touch with the land, their Aina, in a way that's all but impossible to achieve in their normal lives.
Well, for me, it's a rejuvenation of your spirit. You have to come back and really walk in the path of your ancestors and do something that how Uncle Eli was talking about with the management of the forest. Yeah.
Ulu ikalani. We say that every time we plant a tree so that it strives to reach the heavens.
A lot of them that come up here don't know much about the culture, and I don't know much about my culture. I'm still learning myself, and I learn a lot from Eli, and just watching them, embrace the culture, and the environment helps them embrace that.
This is one of the last remaining virgin stands of koa trees on the island. It sits in stark contrast to the once cleared section adjacent to it. It's Eli's hope that these trees he helped plant back in 1977 will look like the virgin forest in about 50 years. But he's already starting to see the impact this project has had on the environment.
If you listen very carefully, the birds are back. The wildlife is back. You come back in here, and if you sit in their forest, in their house, a lot of them going to come and say, "What are you doing in my house?"
Eli has grown an environmental library and laboratory like none other in the world. 31 continuous years of koa tree planting, mapped and managed, so that environmentalists and agriculturalists can go back to see how different techniques, conditions, and locations have affected growth rates. But the big question is still to be answered. When these trees mature, what will become of them?
Tell the students when they come up here, we started this down this road, okay? But we will not be around here to make the decision on what you're going to do with the trees. It's going to be you and your grandchildren's children. So if you decide in the future that you want to harvest, how you want to harvest, it becomes your decision. If you feel like we should keep the environment, it becomes your decision. We are just starting you down the path, and we're telling you why. And we are doing the same thing to you now that our ancestors did for us to be here today.
How do you feel watching this over this period of time? How do you feel watching this, knowing the work that your father has done? What does that mean to you, Tommy?
Well, like I said, I am a proud Hawaiian son watching that video. He was a very serious man about his culture and about the future, the kids what we could offer the children today and where things could go from what what wisdom we have today. And that video pretty much is so him that, makes me a proud son. He ended with saying, the decision is up to you. We have started you down this path. We have planted these trees. It becomes your decision to do what you want with it. Well, fast forward to today. I have found out that that property now is a bird conservation center discovery forest.
Wow.
It is a place where students, kids, anybody that wants to go see what Hawaii might have looked like hundreds of years ago can go. I have yet to see it myself and to play more with this website and find out more about it, but it has kind of become a big classroom. It has kind of become a giant laboratory. And I am proud to know that my father had a big part of putting it together.
My bag is almost packed. So when are we going, Tommy?
Next plane, if we can. I would love to walk those fields with you, without a doubt. I would love to show you how proud I am of the Hawaiians today, because Hawaiians are on the move. Mm-hmm. It has been proud. I have been excited to see so many of the stories today, throughout the day, around the world, what people are doing and how we are engaging in our best effort to keep the planet healthy and to keep it a place where humanity can thrive. I've been excited to see that. And I have to say that I'm proud to see Hawaiians doing the same thing. I'm going to mention two groups that I hope people will learn about, and I'm going to mention them here. One is the Hokulea. The Hokulea.com is a double hull canoe that is traveling the planet by ocean and visiting different cultures around the world to share their knowledge and to learn how their knowledge is helping deal with climate change and what we're learning from each culture to fight climate change. It's been an incredible journey. They are just crossing the Pacific all over to different nations and learning a lot from indigenous cultures. It's amazing how that journey that you can keep track of on that website is teaching the world what Hawaiians did years ago. And that story hits home a lot, because the guy who started the Hokulea in the 70s is a guy named Herb Kane. Herb Kane, my father knew. He introduced me to him. I remember sitting, I think it was in a Burger King in Kaneohe, and we sat in a booth, and there was a big mural on the side of this booth, and I was captivated by this beautiful mural of these Hawaiians coming from the ocean to Hawaii. And I was captivated. And he says, you know who painted that? My friend Herb Kane. He painted that. And it has to have been a very landmark time for me, because now I'm a muralist today, and that had a lot to do with it. Having my dad talk about this muralist and finding out that he had a lot to do with the Hokulea coming back. And now today it is on a mission to teach the world and learn from the world how we can combat climate change and take the riches of the planet to help us and to feed us and to make us a better society in a lot of ways.
What's the meaning behind Hokulea? Is that a name of a location, or is there...
That's the name of the boat, and it is... So I put this video... If you go to the website, hokulea.com, at the top is a video. It's about an hour long, and it is a must-see video. It's a must-see video. It's called The Earth is Our Canoe. Mm-hmm. Go to that website and check out the video. It is a little long, but it's worth the hour. It really tells a lot about what Hawaiians are doing for the planet, how our environment in Hawaii may be different from the environment in Canada and parts of the world, but we're all connected and we all learn from each other different things. And Hawaiians are making their mark in helping other peoples from around the planet figure this out.
We need that teaching.
Yeah.
We
Yes,
need
we do.
teaching. Yeah.
Yeah. The other, so they are very well, this is a group that is very well sponsored, and for good reason, because they are doing so many good things. But there's also a lot of Hawaiians independently doing their own great things. And that's why I'm bringing up alohaorganic.org. I met this guy, Daniel Anthony, at the Hawaii Hemp Convention. And I met him because when the Hawaii Hemp Convention started, the organizer, my friend Morris Beagle, invited Daniel Anthony to come on and say a prayer to begin the conference. A very Hawaiian thing to do. He came up with his family, a child in his arms and a young daughter in front of him, and said, I was invited to come say a prayer, but I'm going to have my daughter say the prayer for me. This is a very Hawaiian thing, to me, is to introduce the youth and to bring them into what we are all doing. And for him to have his daughter recite this or say this prayer and in Hawaiian was an amazing thing for me. And once it was said and they came back, I had to meet him. And come to find out, he is an activist and a farmer and teaching young Hawaiians about farming organically. He's also a poi pounding teacher. He teaches everyone to pound poi, get involved with the culture. So Daniel Anthony has this product that he makes organically to help grow food to eat. And it's called Aloha Organic. But if you go there, you can kind of follow what he does and see the activist in him. That makes me proud to be Hawaiian and makes me proud to see people today helping tomorrow's generation.
I was hoping that we were going to be able to get him to share a little bit today. We had a little bit of an exchange, but
yeah, he's doing an Earth Day program as we speak. He's got a big poi pounding thing in Waimanalo, where my mother grew up. Huge event, Earth Day event. So he couldn't be with us today, but yeah, otherwise he would be here.
Well, next time,
yes,
if he's not present with us, because he's probably going to be doing another event, maybe we can connect and have that visual. We can have the cameras rolling. So, maybe we can figure out a time.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah. What's the time difference between here and Hawaii?
4 hours. 4 hours. Yeah.
4 hours isn't bad. I thought it was 6.
3 hours through the winter. The time change. Hawaii doesn't have the time change. Hawaii and Arizona are outside of the time change. So when through winter, it's 3 hours different. And yeah, through the summer, it's 4 hours.
Yeah. So the Hawaiians and Arizonians, I think they flow a little bit more with the nature of things. Yes, this illusion of time and how we feel like we need to control it for different reasons.
Right.
Yeah. We are getting ready to segue because we've got another person who's presenting, and I'm hoping that his video comes out okay. Cameron Mcintosh, don't you?
Why does that name sound familiar?
Because
in hemp. He's a hemp.
He's in hemp. Yes.
Yes,
I thought you guys had met along the way. So I just make this assumption, you're in the hemp industry. I don't care where on the planet, everybody knows everybody else.
That's another thing about me, that I'm not sure everyone here knows, is that I spent 2 years managing a hemp crop here just outside of Denver. And that was an incredible thrill for me to have my hands in the dirt and to learn from the next most brilliant crop for the planet. And something I'm trying to bring to Hawaii as well. I'd love to somehow introduce the importance of hemp to Hawaiians, but they're very simple. They're like, just give us our poi, we'll go fish, and that's all we need. But I'm determined to show them the amazing power of hemp. So, yeah, Daniel Anthony is also someone that might be able to help get us there. But Pono hemp might be something we end up doing together. And having my hands in the dirt and already working with hemp meant a lot to me, and makes me think positive things about the future. So Cameron, I think, is on that.
Well, I got to tell you, you are really where my springboard was for the hemp world. I mean, I came to you after spending some time just doing my own research, and you were the one who said, hey, I have some people that I need to introduce you to. And then you made your recommendation to go check out Eric McKee at his site, because he was building the very first hempcrete structure, permitted hempcrete structure in Colorado. And once that happened, well, bam. That was it for me. It was like, I have seen the light.
All of a sudden, you were in Haiti with a plan.
Yeah, there you go. And speaking to Haiti, I mean, thank you to you. We've had 3 of our Haitian sisters come to Colorado, and you met Tammy, Tamara Cantab, and you met Jane Wynne, who's going to be speaking in maybe about a half hour. She's doing a live presentation as well. And then Tammy's going to be speaking a little bit later. I think she comes on around the 6 o'clock hour. She's going to be talking about financial literacy, which is another part of what we are needing, especially within our communities. If you are not a part of the 1%, you really should listen in to what she has to say, But Jane, I've often made this comparison of Jane Wynne is, I believe she's like the mirror image, the female image of your father in the work that she's been doing in Haiti. So hopefully at some point there'll be some nice connections there. And
I have every faith in you to do that. I'm so proud of you and to be part of this work that you're doing. I really am. It touches me to be part of your project. I said an instant yes when you asked me, because I introduced you to Eric because I know the power you have to connect good people that have big hearts. And so I was really happy to introduce you to that. And I'm glad to see how it unfolded. And again, proud to be part of this board and this movement that you're putting together, because these voices make sense and the world needs to hear them.
Thank you. Thank you, Tommy. And, it's an honor to be able to have you on the board. Like I said, we've known each other for going on 30 years, but it took me a while to actually ask you, because I know that you are a very busy man as well. So the other, I saw that there was a link that was up, and I don't remember what just came up as far as contacting you is concerned, but then there's also, is it Blue Nahulu? Or
Blue Nahulu art on Instagram. That's for my art stuff. But if anyone wants to get a hold of me for what we're talking about today, they can catch me through you. Her Many Voices Foundation. All right.
That sounds good. And speaking to that donate button is back up again. So please keep us in mind. Even if it's just because you need a tax write-off, right? Think about that. Think about that.
We all need a tax write-off, and make it make sense.
All right. Well, I guess it's time. We're going to see if Cameron's video is good to go. Hopefully we've got some audio on there. I had some issues with it a little bit earlier. Thank you again, Tommy, and stick around too, because after this, we've got Hana Gabrielová.
Hi, everyone. This is Cameron from Americhanvre Hemp. Thank you very much to the Her Many Voices Foundation for organizing this event today, and happy Earth Day. So we're a licensed and insured installer of biocomposite insulation material known as hempcrete. You can see here a picture of me spraying a wall on a house in Missouri. We're also a supplier of hemp hurd for building, and we make some cast hemp decor for interior and exterior use. So what is hempcrete? It's a non-structural biocomposite insulation and walling material made from the inner woody core of the fiber industrial hemp stalk and a lime-based binder. It's a highly performant acoustic and thermal insulation with considerable thermal mass and low thermal inertia. It's mold, mildew, rot, pest, and fire resistant. Most importantly, it's sustainable, renewable, and carbon sequestering. So we use a hemp hurd that is a building quality that comes from a farmer-owned collective in France that's been growing for about 30 years and processing and distributing fiber industrial hemp products. There's the cannabat in our warehouse. It's basically, again, it's a building grade hurd certified by a third-party professional body in France. And we're retailing it here in Pennsylvania for around 52 to 64 cents. Fortunately, we're working with partners locally to get this material made within Pennsylvania so that we don't have to import it. So here's some images from fiber hemp trial done at Coexist Build at their Baden Creek farm in Blandon, PA. Planted the Futura 75 cultivar. It grew to about a height of 6 to 8 feet, and we were fortunate to have New Holland Ag help us to harvest this crop. So a few images of it growing in the field here. That's about 2 weeks after we planted it, up to about my elbow there. And there's Drew, the owner of Coexist, standing in his hemp field. And as you can see, it's right about 6 feet. And again, another image there of us harvesting the hemp and round baling it. So industrial fiber hemp production process is essentially picking the right cultivar for your area, identifying the right planting window, preparing the field, and coming up with a seeding plan, and then also identifying your harvest window and the way that you're going to harvest. And then having a plan for retting. How long are you going to leave it to lay in the field? Are you going to flip it? How are you going to bring it in? Collection, storage, and then decortication. So you can see there an image of some fiber being decorticated by a friend of ours in North Carolina at the hemp mill.
And then are you saying,
so how can we build lasting agricultural infrastructure on fiber industrial hemp? Farmer-owned cooperatives, carbon tax credit trade. There's a looming carbon tax credit trade here where farmers will be able to sell their carbon tax credit to industries that are carbon intensive. Encouraging innovative end user development. Local self-reliance is very important. Hemp does stand to be local. And support from government agencies. And where should we put our money? Here in Pennsylvania, in the hands of farmers, local hemp startups, and into harvesting and processing equipment. Also like to just talk briefly about a nonprofit that we're a part of here in Philadelphia. With goals that are very well aligned.
So I'm going to be going to go drop my kids off. I'm going to leave in about 10 minutes.
It's a nonprofit founded,
and then I'll be back after I drop them off.
And restaurateur Judy Wicks.
Can you hear me?
We're focused on uniting rural and urban communities around the core basic values of local economies and local self-reliance.
No worries.
And we have our hemp local supply chain. And this is a meeting obviously pre-COVID, where we discuss and network with the people here in Pennsylvania around industrial hemp. And also a little shout out to the U.S. Hemp Building Association. I'm a director at large on the board of directors. It's a professional trade organization in the United States here focused on hemp building materials, looking to achieve full ASTM and ICC code approval for hempcrete and other building materials so that we can use them everywhere. It's comprised of builders, architects, engineers, developers, and enthusiasts. So here we have an image of a house that we did in Missouri with our colleagues at Hempitecture. This is one of the first houses in the United States to be spray applied with our E-Reezy spray application system. Here's our little model demonstration home, our hemp house on wheels. We built this back in 2019 as a demonstration for the material. And there it is, finished. This thing has about 3,000 miles on it now, so the hempcrete is very, very durable, as we've proved. And there we are at the CWCB Expo in 2019, and that little BMW there in front of it is the i3 fully electric BMW, and it actually has 20% hemp in the door panels, in the upholstery, and in some of the interior body panels. Another project that we did, retrofit on a small studio, so it doesn't have to be a full house. You can retrofit an existing structure, which is what we did here. And then there's a couple of friends of mine, O'Neill and Ray, working on screeding down the walls from a spray application job that we did at the Hempstead in Stroudsburg, PA. And finally, a little mock-up wall by a friend of mine who's looking to do a home. This is a demonstration wall for the technique, and you can see here how the hempcrete exists in the structure. So again, thank you very much to the Her Many Voices Foundation. This is an excellent day, excellent platform, and really want to impress upon everyone that we have an opportunity with hemp to change the way that we do a lot of things, and one of the largest and most impactful for the environment, for the planet, would be to build our homes a little bit differently. Stop using toxic materials that are wasteful. Work with biocomposites like hempcrete to create homes that are actually sequestering carbon instead of creating it. So shout out to everyone else that was presenting today. It's been a great event. The planet is screaming for help. I feel that. I think that it's permeating everything that we do and every decision that we make, and especially on the industrial hemp side. The field is wide open. There's so many products that we can make that are carbon intensive now that we could make out of hemp. So again, thank you very much. Pleasure to see you all, and let's do our part here to save the planet.
Thank you so much, Cameron. I was thrilled when Cameron said yes to being on today. I've had the pleasure of spending time with him and being a part of one of his workshop on the spraying of hempcrete, which is quite a different experience than tamping it, mixing it, and then tamping it in by hand. One that I have thoroughly enjoyed, and because of that, we're going to be doing some work together on a project that I'm working on here in Colorado, as well as one in upstate New York. So, yes, Americhanvre cast hemp, and please check out their website. They're doing some very fine work out there. And hemp gets to be used in ways that are kind of unexpected. The things that we can come up with our imagination is that's the only thing that limits us, right? Is our imagination. So this is a great segue, because we're now going from hemp here in the States, from Pennsylvania. We went from Colorado to Pennsylvania. Now we're going to the other side of the pond to my dear friend, Hana Gabrielová from the Czech Republic. Hana!
Oh, yeah, I made it. It's unbelievable. It's like almost 1 o'clock in the night here.
No, I'm so happy that you said that you were going to do this, and then timing everything. I'm like, is she going to be able to stay awake?
No problem. I had some masala tea. Okay.
Okay. All right. So I'm just going to let you go to it, and then this way you can go to sleep shortly after this. And also, so you know, we have Jane Wynne is coming on, and Melissa Day in a few minutes from Wynne Farm. So they're checking out what you have to say as well today.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I had prepared some presentation, but basically I just want to share my little story. Maybe it will be inspiring for somebody. And yeah, I just like basically I met him when I been like 19 at the university, and I was like choosing the thesis for my university studies on agriculture, and I found hemp, and the time was like very like nobody really like wanted to even like talk about it. But I got there and I did a thesis. It was probably first thesis about industrial hemp in at least Czech Republic for sure. And the time we was approving the hemp seed varieties, what now happening in US, that universities like checking the quality of the imported hemp seed varieties from Europe or other parts of the world, which is important because without seeds we cannot make the change and we cannot use the potential. So very cool. And yeah, and then I start to work for the because I always wanted to be like helping the Mother Earth, and like I really like feel with her, and I didn't, when I was 15 I didn't wanted to get plastic back into shops because I was returning them because no I don't need it, thank you. And then I wanted to do something more, so I start to like work for NGOs on the nuclear waste topic, which wasn't really like much like helping Mother Earth. It was just like stopping some crazy mess, but I didn't even want it to be part of that in the end. So I decided to follow my heart and my interest in hemp, and established a company called Hempoint. So which is kind of like 4 things what we're focusing on, which are the seeds for the farmers and providing education, consulting for the farmers that they can be successful and they don't have to pass so much problems, but we already know and learn during our journey personal. And yeah, so farmer seeds, we grow hemp for tea production, so we harvest hemp on the small scale, like 10 acres, and produce high quality tea flower material. We do hemp food. It's great experience for the people to share the food from hemp because it has a high nutrition, and especially now in this COVID times, I think it's important to have access to that. And yeah, and then we also started to be interested in hemp feed, like for the animals, because the biggest problem of what we're facing now, it's I think all the agriculture sector, which like we kind of like producing animals like just like for food, but there is not really some kind of like moral aspect, or like we really need so much, or maybe we can replace some meat with the plant-based protein which is in hemp, and then we don't need so much meat, and we can have more field for trees or for like plants, so which are much healthier, and like we can be healthier with that. So, and also make healthier the planet. And one important thing for hemp is that it can also help clean the soils from all the heavy metals and pesticides. So I think this is also one important thing, because when we then use all the materials for the industrial production, like we basically like store it in the bricks of the walls, like Tommy was telling us. So we can really, store some low, really nothing like heavy metals in the walls or pesticides. Who cares? But like for health, it's problem. In the soil, it's problem. In the wall, probably not too much. Yeah. So I think like this there I see the big potential for this plant on the planet, because it's unique. Like all the uses, it's really unique. There is no plant which can be used for textile. You can wear it, you can eat it, you can build with it. You can even use it as a medicine. You can write on it. it's unbelievable, and we prohibited many years ago, and like 60 years ago, and now we start still discovering like what it can bring us now. So I'm really thankful that I've been able to help people who was trying to change international regulations, and at least like manage to make cannabis plant recognized as a medicine. The end of 60 years prohibition, and we also presented to the United Nations the book of Cannabis and Sustainable Development, and it's online. You can find it on our webpage. And today we presented the Czech translation of this book. And Alicia, this is the book we brought to the United Nations.
Yes, I'm so here having
and
this
today we
backpack.
translated, like today we published the Czech version, so it was great.
Congratulations on that.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Yeah, Hana and I were in New York, and we went to the UN to bring this book. Yeah, so we've had a lot of journey together. We've traveled a fair amount together, and I've had the honor of spending time at the farm that you were on in Czech Republic as well. And you've joined us in Haiti, and we've spent time in Poland and where? Italy, and I don't know, many other places. It's been a joy to be able to travel on this journey with you and learn so much from you about hemp and how it gets to transform the world, you know. Oh no, we just lost Hana. Did we lose her? Well, oh yes, we lost Hana, and we have Jane and Melissa in Haiti. So we've been on online. Hopefully Hana will join us again, because she's calling in from the Czech Republic. And I don't know if you guys were able to hear some of what we were talking about with Hana. Melissa, Jane, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
But yes.
Okay. And your volume is kind of low on this end too. So I'm going to turn up my audio. So I was just saying, I don't know if you saw, we had Hana Gabrielová here. And we were talking, so we were talking about the travels and the experiences we've had together, and one being at your farm in Haiti. And the work that she is doing, so tirelessly doing, to get hemp out there in the world and to really educate people on what this plant can do, what it has done. She's writing to me right now. Sorry, she was disconnected. Let's see. Yeah, sorry. I'm going to see if she can come back on. Oh, she's trying to connect. Okay. So hopefully we'll get her back, and then you three can say hello again. You can have a little reunion. So in the meantime, we were able to, and if you could, I don't know who's holding it, but we've got a thumb over Jane's face.
Okay, sorry about that.
Okay, that's okay. Are you guys on your phone?
Our phone, yeah.
Okay. All right. So, folks, Jane, Wynne, and Melissa Day, they are a mother and daughter team, and this is Wind Farm Ecological Reserve in Kenskov, Haiti. And these folks here, these ladies here, are family to me. We met 10 years ago, a little bit more than 10 years ago, and we have stayed connected, and we've partnered on different projects over the years, many different projects over the years. So I have a lot of gratitude that they were able to join us today. And here's Hana.
Sorry, I made it. I don't know what's happened.
That's okay.
But I'm back. And
That's okay.
I see this beautiful faces. Oh my God, that's incredible. Hi guys. Oh girls, how are you?
We're good.
Yeah. Oh, that's so great to see you. Oh my God. Yeah.
Good to hear about hemp. I'm so excited.
Yeah. How's hemp in Haiti? I heard somebody already growing there.
Yes, they are. They started, they're doing the oil, and they're doing very well. But we are thinking more. I just seeds from Asia will come, and we are going to try.
Okay. Let me know if you need seeds. I'm sending them. They start to breed it more tropical varieties already because more demand for them. So
This is good. And we just sent seeds down this past week, Hana.
Oh, great!
We got 3 different types of 3 varieties of seeds that we sent to Wynne Farm. But we definitely are needing your seeds there. So because as you know, we need to find out what is going to do best in Haiti in their environment. So
perfect. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Haiti need hemp big time.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So we've got a few more minutes. Hana, did you want to share any more about the work that you're doing? I need to acknowledge it is 1-something in the morning for Hana. So we want to be mindful.
Yeah, maybe I just wanna mention that maybe that the potential what I see in hemp and for the mother earth, it's really the stem and all the fiber uses, because there is the big scale potential, you know. There was CBD production last few years in US and get overproduced already in 30 years, you know. So I think the capacity of the market on CBD is not such big on fiber. So I hope American farmers who has these large operations, large fields, large machines, large everything. So they will be starting to grow hemp on big time, because then they can really kick ass, you know, on so
It'll make a big difference once the US has processing plants here. That
Yes.
is really where the holdup is. You know, we have plenty of farmers who want to grow hemp because they see what industrial hemp can do on so many levels for the planet, but it's getting the processing here in this country. We are very behind compared to Czech Republic. I'll just say that.
We don't have processing facility as well, so don't worry. Not every country in Europe has processing facility for fiber. That's probably still kind of challenge. We bought one, so we're fixing it to make it work. Yeah, but in US, it's just about the investment. But in cannabis, it's a lot of money, and a lot of money was wasted on CBD and all these kind of trading shares, or I don't know, this inquiry is crazy. But I think now the people realizing that the potential hemp, it's probably not only in the CBD. Actually, CBD is quite risky because regulatory, no standards, a lot of kind of challenges. And hemp fiber is kind of easy. You just build the infrastructure. I let farmers grow it. They bring it to me. I process that. I make a lot of money because big scale. So I think it's kind of course, it's not that easy. It has a lot of you really need to know what you're doing,
Exactly.
Or you need to partner with somebody you need who knows what he's doing, you know.
Yeah, and that's the reason why we work with you.
Well, I kind of still learning the fiber. It's nothing I experience in my life, you know. So I mean, I can advise people on doing small scale, or for Haiti where it's a lot of manual work. I feel really comfortable, you know, because I do manual work too on my farm. But if we're talking about American farmers, this is different than Nepal. Yeah, I've been like doing houses in Nepal, but like in Nepal they do house like small little house, you know. But you want to build houses in America, you need like different scale. So everything it's about the scale, and for the big scale need like big infrastructure, and just somebody needs to pay for it. But the investors need to understand that. There's a lot of kind of like still trials needed before they can really count well, you know. But like the smart investors, they don't mind to kind of approve if the business plan will work. Like, so let's check which varieties will work, how much we get, like on the small trial, you know, and it, you know, kind of. So the planning it's important in the industry, because still not especially in the new areas, you need to really like plan well. And the people thinks like, oh, that is working, I just bring it here, will work as well. But like every environment is different. I think like hemp can help in many places in the earth to kind of like stabilize, localize the material sources, food sources, whatever source you need.
And bring biodiversity back into the mix. You know, we took out something that was crucial on the planet, and it causes issues when we do that. So now that it's coming back into the fold, it's much better for us collectively. We are kind of like toddlers. We are like infants going into toddler stage, I feel, around this plant. And we have a tremendous amount to still learn about it and remember about it. So
remember about that for sure. And also there is one aspect what trying with some people like bring up, it's the traditional use, because like have been used for thousands of years of cannabis plant. And then we created hemp industrial one, you know, but still it was the same plant. Nobody really cares about like THC, you know. We started to get THC when we discovered it in 64. So it's kind of, you know, and then everything happened, you know. But the like interesting thing is that we prohibited the cannabis plant in 61, like 3 years before we discovered THC. So we like prohibit something where we even didn't know like what's there, like making us like psycho something. So I think it's important to a little bit realize why this like prohibition happened and where we need to go back, and I think to going to the back to the roots and giving respect to the people who was like maintaining all the hemp, you know, or cannabis plant in India, you know, like who has like what is like all cannabis people in India who grew all the varieties, like what like these people brought to to California and now making like big money, you know, like that's someone like sending a little bit like to these Indians, you know, who was like taking care for a generation about these plants. I don't know. So probably not. So I think, yeah, the respect is important and on many levels, you know, respect to the plant, respect to the earth, respect to each other like work. So
that's what today is about. It is honoring Mother Earth and each other. Hana, thank you very much for joining us tonight, for staying up so late to be with us today. I love you dearly and appreciate you tremendously. So
see you soon. Giving you a big hug.
Yeah, big hug, big virtual hug to you. Okay. Melissa, Jane. Okay, so I will ask, since you've got your phone. Okay, that is better. I can see you there. But to definitely speak up because the volume is very low. So, and we want to make sure that people hear what you have to say. I spoke a great deal about you earlier today, and we spoke with Corinna Gore, who is the founder of the Center of Earth Ethics, to make them aware of what is going on in Haiti and the issues that Wynne Farm has been dealing with for so many years. So, so know that this day is also reaching out. We've got those tentacles reaching out to others, and hopefully in support of you, okay? Because I know We need to support each other. But certainly given the situation in Haiti, wind farm could use a little added boost from the rest of the global community. So much love to you both. You guys you celebrated Earth Day on Sunday. So tell us about it. How did it go? Can you hear?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, you froze up for a moment. And you froze up again.
I can't hear anything. We lost you. Can you hear my voice, Alicia?
Okay, now we can hear your voice. Yes, and hopefully we will hold on to you enough that you can share a little bit. And we also have, I believe we have a video that we can share too. So, but go ahead. How was Earth Day for you on Sunday?
I'm not sure what you said, but I think you asked about Sunday. How did it go for Earth Day?
Yes.
Keeps cutting off. I'm so sorry. It was wonderful. Unfortunately, last year we had to cancel our event. We've been having our Earth Day gathering since 1992. And with COVID last year, of course, everything was postponed. But this year, again, it was a beautiful gathering of so many children, adults, people from different walks of life came together at the wind farm to honor the Earth. And we had about 500 people that showed up. And
wow.
We had a beautiful earth dance in honor of the earth and the soil. And we had a lot of guest speakers, namely one of the ex-ministers of the environment was here with us. We had a beekeeper also share with the children the importance of the bees and why if the bees are gone, we too will be gone, and just bring that into awareness for the youth, as well as local farmers who were present. We had a lot of events unfolding throughout the day in order to bring together as many people.
Well, there was a point where Melissa brought in some of our animals from the farm just to show the people the unity of all the living beings, the animals. We had introduced alpaca, who are very friendly, and the goat, and and the children. We all were together, and the human beings and the animals and butterflies and birds all together. So it was like one big family of Mother Nature.
Some people misunderstood the idea of walking through the crowd with all of the animals. They thought we should have only had local species represented. However, some of the animals we have are rescues that other people had in their homes and that were no longer being taken care of. And so we've taken care of certain animals at the reserve. And in order to just bring together a moment of, it's not just about Haiti. It's not just about the U.S. It's not just about Jamaica. It's it's just a reminder of how and what we do on a global scale, and just remembering our connection is something that is very important to us. It's something that I have to share.
I'm sorry, I lost you for a moment. Can you hear me?
Oh, I don't know from where.
No, I lost maybe your last 30 seconds.
Oh, it was a beautiful celebration. We had tree planting with children, with adults. We had drumming and the earth dance, and a lot of local farmers came through, and it was just a beautiful, beautiful come together. Especially that, you know, people have been through not just COVID, but all of the political instability that's been happening in Haiti, that is promoting more separation. I feel it was an important gathering to bring people together from different backgrounds, social classes.
We need to be reminded, especially when we separate ourselves from nature and feel like we are above it and we are going to profit from it. We need to be reminded of who we are, why we are, and how connected we are. And I think you all do a wonderful job of that in the midst of the turmoil that is happening in Haiti. And I know that you have spent years, I can't say combating, but being faced with the reality of those who do not understand the connection. They are not interested in the connection. They are only interested in financial gain or power gain struggles, and believe that they have a right to just take what is not theirs, but what is for all to care for. And you at Wynne Farm do an amazing job of tending to the earth and mother and all of her children, whether they are the four-leggeds or the two-leggeds. You do a wonderful job of that. And I know that you guys work tirelessly to educate people on this and how we need to connect, and we need to remind ourselves of the connection that we have to mother. Because if we take, I refer to humans as we are termite people. We are constantly consuming, constantly. And, you know, to come to your land and to cut the trees down, to take them away, to use them for whatever purpose. You know, we all know that Haiti is a deforested country. There are many places in the world that we have done so much damage to ourselves because of how we have treated mother. So much damage. So I have a tremendous amount of gratitude and respect for the fact that you do what you do in the midst of the confrontations, the abuse, the violence, all of those things, those walls that are created, those hurdles that are created. You have been working very, very long and tirelessly. Jane, tell us a little bit about the family history, because Wynne Farm is something that's been around for quite some time. So tell us about the history.
Okay, well, as long as back as I can remember, I was 10 years old when my dad and my mom both brought me to the mountain, and because we live by the ocean. And then over the years showed me how to be connected with nature. Ever since, I don't think I've ever been missed, that I can say. So what I am thankful for, that especially my dad, taught by walking with him every day to the mountain, teaching about how to connect with nature. And then I passed it on to my daughters, and today I have grandchildren.
Jane, can you hear me right now? Can you hear me? We've lost your audio. So I tell you what, let's see if you can come back in, link back in, go out and link back in. In the meantime, we are going to play a video of Wind Farm. Okay? Okay. Hopefully when you come back, your internet will be good.
The Wind Farm Ecological Reserve is a little sanctuary in the mountains of Kinskov in Haiti. It was founded by Victor Wynne in 1956. Victor's vision was to create a space apart where he could remind people on how to take care of the environment, how to farm and live more sustainably with the earth. He started by terracing the entire 30 acres for the image of Machu Picchu to prevent soil erosion and also introduce other methods of soil conservation. He later introduced various species of plants and fruits, mainly from South America. But one of his main focuses was also to preserve the indigenous species of the land of the area. When Victor passed away, his daughter Jane and her family opened up the space more to the public and continued his work through environmental education, environmental awareness, tours. Throughout the years, hundreds and hundreds of students, of orphanages, families, agronomists have come through, as well as tourists. Thanks to the USAID, the Center for Sustainable Development was built at the reserve to share workshops with local farmers. The wind farm mostly focuses on reforestation efforts, environmental awareness, organic farming, and to basically create a healing space for humanity. It's that space where you can come back to and remember that we are all so interconnected. We're not separate from our environment. We are the environment. So to preserve the environment is to preserve yourself. To heal the environment, to heal nature, to reconnect with nature is to reconnect with yourself. And just remember, remembering that no living system operates by itself. Everything is interconnected. And we continue our work also, striving to inspire the youth to know that they can make a difference. So that when they leave, they feel empowered to be the change. to be a part of a green revolution, to honor all life.
I know you guys have seen that video. You probably viewed it 100 times over again. I have seen and shown that video probably 50 times easily. And I am equally as moved today as I was the very first time that I saw it. It's so well done. It is very touching. And it tells the gentleness of what you have created at Wynne Farm. And Jane, I know it's Melissa spoke in it a little bit about your father, and you were sharing that story right before we had the tech issue. So did you want to share a little bit more about when you were a child? What did that mean to be able to be in this environment? And what was it that your father spoke to you about that had you, that planted that seed in you to be here all these years later, working so hard and defending what is there, what mother has given us?
Thank you, Alicia. Well, before I say anything, I want for giving us a chance to be part of you today. And this was part of my vision to be able one day, you know, to join with all the sisters and brothers of the world who are caretakers of Mother Earth. And today, you know, I feel goosebumps because I feel that I am so grateful for being part of this show. And I just wish humanity would understand that we are one, just one family which includes humanity and with a biodiversity of life. You know, a diversity. So, again, thank you. I am so grateful. So grateful. And, well, as I was saying, my mom was from the island. So she taught me how to smell the flowers. She would use the different perfumes of the flowers. I remember when I was a little girl, she would put jasmine in her hair to go out. And it was like that in our family when I was a little girl. And then when I was 10, we moved to the mountains. First of all, to center of the department in Port-au-Prince. And by going to the mountains, I learned how to appreciate the soil that we walk on. I just love that soil. And he taught me how to, that there's tons of life in that soil. And we have to respect it and honor it. So sometimes I just wish I could have. He taught us how to do soil conservation, improve the soil with compost, and appreciate locally. First of all, respect where we are locally, but the vision is for the whole globe, for the whole Mother Earth, and that was always the vision. And my dad would say, "We are travelers. We have to protect every square foot of soil that we walk on." And so when he died, we put a traveler's park of where we buried him. And I like to remind people when they come to the farm that we're all travelers in this earth. We will not leave with much, with anything. physical.
Mhm.
So we have to let go and respect what we are allowed to enjoy while we are on this planet Earth. And so it's very difficult. Life is very, very difficult in Haiti right now. Sometimes people say we've been going backwards. I don't call it backwards. I just call it off the track. We're going off the track. And it needs a lot of help, a lot of people who understand, who love people, love nature, to get together and save this little part of the puzzle of the earth. Because we are just one piece of that big puzzle. So, and we each have to play our part. So that's why we are here on this beautiful island, and which has been, uh, how do you say, saccagé, disturbed, which has been. I'm trying to find the correct word. I cannot. You know what I mean? Um, it has become like a martyr, and
Mm.
so I feel I always think of Haiti as this woman who has an accident and everybody thinks she's dead, and then when a doctor comes and put the stethoscope on her heart, he listens to the heartbeat of that beautiful woman. And to me, the drum is the heartbeat of that woman. And then the doctor says, let's call all the different doctors. It's not one specialist. So right now we're calling the people to protect the sea, to protect the water, the air, the soil. We want everybody to get together and save our most beautiful Haiti. So to me, there's a lot of work. There's a lot of pain. There's a lot of pain in Haiti on all sides. But I think that's what we, the caretakers, we are here for. We feel the pain, and we have to do what we have to do, right, Alicia?
Yes, this is very true. This is very true. And I know that we've experienced some intense moments together. Melissa, you and I in particular, certain times. I know that the two of you carry tremendous pain in this process that is quite often not shared, but you carry it. And you silently carry it. But it is the work that we must do. It's the work that must be done in this world until we get those who can make the difference, those who are, how do we say, in the position of power and control, until they can relinquish that and understand that when they do, it will benefit all. Until that moment happens, we get to be the bearer of this kind of pain. Yeah.
Thank you. I'd like
Yeah.
to say a positive note. Positive note is that so many, this last year especially, so many people have been more aware of nature, of Mother Nature. And I see people rising from every part of the island, to do their part wherever they are. And to me, that's a very positive note. And one of the biggest notes is that we've been preserved a small over 30%, but recently the government declared 400 hectares of land to be protected where wind farm is. So all around us will be protected. We are just one part of it. And so to me, there's a lot of work for us. And so that means more biodiversity will need natural resources and space, more trees and everything. So
Mhm.
there's a lot of work to be done. And I am
Yeah.
happy about that because enlarging the spaces, you know, the natural resources. And I must tell you, there are 3 main rivers that spring from that top of the mountain. 3 main rivers of the Department of the West. In 10 years, if we don't do anything about it now, there will be no water for this people,
Yes.
millions of people in
Yeah.
down below.
Greta Thunberg talks about, I want you to act as if your house is on fire, because it is. And that is certainly the case in Haiti in particular. So for those of you who are interested in finding out more, please go to windfarm.org and reach out to see how you can support Wind Farm, Jane, Melissa, and all of those there. Ladies, thank you very much for joining us tonight. And I hope to be seeing you again soon.